Really, Vikings? Really? 27-6 against the Bills? Hey, we are back with, well, I guess now it's week 4. Yay, week 4. Anyways, that guy'll be fine. Don't worry about him. I'm here, and I actually have a script. Unlike that guy who just did it on the fly, I actually wrote a script. So, starting off with, they were number 1 last week, number 1 again. The Chiefs. Patrick Mahomes is on fire, breaking QB records every game. It's insane. And, they just destroyed the Steelers. They destroyed the 49ers. 49ers were starting to come back in the second half, but rip. Poor Jimmy G. But yeah, they just keep this up. Who's going to stop them? 14-2, 15-1 will be easy for the Chiefs as long as there aren't any major injuries. Number 2 last week. Number 2 again. The Rams. Giving the greatest show on turf a huge rival. This team just seems unstoppable, just like the Chiefs. At this point, we could very well see a Chiefs-Rams Super Bowl, which would be... it'd be nice to see someone other than the Patriots in the Super Bowl. Just saying. Rip, poor Patriots. Number 3, the Bucks. They lost, but they had been given one more play. They've been given one more drive. Ryan Fitzpatrick already had over 400 yards. He had like 411 yards, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. But Ryan Fitzpatrick, if he had been given one more drive, probably could have won the game. Or at least got in the field goal range to kick the field goal and all that. Tie it up and all that. What they do next week, we'll have to wait and see. Because I think it was, a 4-game suspension. So next week may be the last week we see Ryan Fitzpatrick. Or the team may go, the guy's averaging over 400 yards a game. We can't bench him. He's too good. Again, if they win next week, I don't think they bench him. If they lose, but it's close, and it's not because of him, I don't think they bench him. If they get destroyed, and it's because he threw 5 interceptions, 1 touchdown, 22 yards, all right, then they might bench him. But short of that, I don't see them benching him. Next, number 4. At 3-0, the Dolphins, you'd think, would be number 3. Maybe even number 2. I mean, they're 3-0. But they've beaten the Jets, the Raiders, the Titans. They're what? Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, they're 4-4 so they're at 500 for their opponents. Again, the Jets. The Jets just lost to the Browns, for crying out loud. The Raiders are 0-3. The Titans are actually 2-1, which surprises the hell out of me, especially as they beat the Jaguars. But let's wait until week 6 before we bump them up too high. I'm actually a little cautious to put them at number 4. If there's another 3-0 team or a 2-1 team that actually looked great, they'd be higher. But until then, the Dolphins will be at number 4. Panthers, number 5. 2-1. Beat some good opponents. And then they lost to the Falcons. The Falcons are a good team. And they'll have to contend with them again. If they beat them the next time they face each other, Panthers will obviously... well... because the Falcons have a really good team, but they're just off to such a slow start. Like, if they were off to a hotter start, maybe not have the Panthers so high after being beat by the Falcons, but the Falcons is just, they're what, 1-2 now? The Falcons from 2 years ago went to the Super Bowl, and now it's like, yay, we got a win. Falcons better step it up. But until then, Panthers will be above them. Number 6, the Ravens. 2-1. Stomp one team, the Bills. You know, the garbage team that will go 0-16 this year, right? So they come out, and then they lose to the Bungles. Just like from out of nowhere, it's like, we went 48-3 against the Bills. Get beat by the Bungles. Then they come out and they beat the Broncos. Broncos have a good defense. Offense, kind of shaky. Case Keenum 1 week looks good. Next week, not so much. He had an off week this week. If he had been on, would it be a different story? Maybe. But he wasn't on, so Ravens, number 6. Number 7, the Jags. They beat the Patriots. They beat the Patriots. Then lose to the Titans. Titans are now 2-1, just like the Jags. And for some reason, the Titans just seem to have their number. Sometimes there's teams out there that just have another team's number, like the Colts, Peyton Manning. We're going to go 16-0. And then they play against the Chargers and they lose. It's like the Chargers were 3-10. We were 13-0, and then we play against the Chargers now we're 13-1. And they're 4-10 now. Like it's just something about certain teams that just seem to have the other team's number. So I have to see what the Jags do next week. If they win in dominating fashion, obviously they'll move up. Another team at 2-1. Oh wait, there's a lot of 2-1 teams. Redskins. 1 week, then an elite team. They just crush your opponent. But then turns out that opponent was the Cardinals, so yeah, take it with a grain of salt. Next week, garbage. Next week, elite again. They beat the Packers. It's not like the Packers are a bad team. Packers have Aaron freaking Rodgers. Yes, the Packers are 1-1-1, just like the Vikings, just like the Browns. But a lot of that has to do with the O-line being garbage. The Redskins defense was able to keep pressure on Aaron Rodgers, keep him from going out there and being Aaron Rodgers, which allowed Alex Smith to go out there and beat Alex Smith. If they play elite all year, they could very well be facing off against the Rams in the NFC Championship game. If they don't keep playing at elite levels, I still think they win the East, get to the playoffs, but they might get eliminated in round 1. Oh, speaking of being eliminated in round 1 of the playoffs, the Bungles, 2-1. I would have had them higher, except they're without Joe Mixon, and A.J. Green's hurt. They probably would have won that game, and then A.J. Green got hurt. A.J. Green gets eliminated. Defense on the other team is like, screw it. We don't have to cover A.J. Green anymore. We got this. And they did. A.J. Green, Mixon out there. Bungles would have had it. Without both of them, tier. If A.J. Green comes back next week and they win, obviously they'd probably move up. If not, bye-bye Bungles. Probably drop out of the top 10 easily. Hey! 2-1. The Eagles. Carson Wentz, finally back from his injury. Didn't look amazing, but it's his first week. Give it a couple weeks for him to knock the rest off. And for the Eagles, they're just lucky that they got Nick Foles there waiting, just in case. A team that traded for a backup quarterback who should be pretty good. Hasn't played yet, thankfully, because number 1 has been out there. The Saints. But here's the thing. They had to rely on Drew Brees' running game. Drew Brees does not run. He has now more touchdowns on the ground than a lot of running backs do. There's a lot of running backs in the league that have 0 touchdowns. Or have 1 touchdown. And Drew Brees has 2 on the ground. He's old. Don't have him run the ball. He runs the ball, he's going to get hurt. I get you got Teddy Bridgewater sitting there waiting, but that doesn't mean you got to go out there and get Brees hurt, people. I may have him on a couple fantasy teams. Don't want to see him get hurt. Here's a huge surprise. First week on the board, the Titans, 2-1. They beat the Jags, but they lost to the Dolphins. But the Dolphins aren't anywhere near as garbage as I predicted. Who could have predicted? We lost our top running back. We lost our top wide receiver. We lost our best defensive player. Yeah, we're going to go out there and go 3-0. But again, it's 3-0 against the Titans, the Jets, the Raiders. But yes, the Titans are 2-1, just like the Jags, after beating the Jags. That could come down to the AFC South. All right, who goes 4th, who goes 5th, and the playoff seeding. Oh, Titans beat them. Titans get it. Of course, they got to play each other again, so to wait and see how that week goes. I couldn't drop them too far. 1-1-1. Tied for 2nd in the division. Got the most accurate kicker. Just to not use him. The Vikings. Josh Allen going out there, having no tape on him. All right, our defense, what do we call? What do we do? We've not played against this quarterback before. No one's played against this quarterback before. So that could have confounded the defense. That's no excuse for the offense to get beat by that defense. That defense that gave up 48 points against the freaking Ravens. And now on Thursday, they have the Rams. Now, yes, the Vikings were without Dalvin Cook. They were without defensive end Everson Griffin. And they might be without him for a while. Apparently, he's going through some off-the-field issues. Dalvin Cook comes back. That helps the running game out, but it's the Rams. The Vikings will not be on this list next week unless they win. If they don't win, unless everybody around them loses or ties, and even then, they probably still won't be on this list next week. They have to beat the Rams. They beat the Rams, or let's say they lose by less than a field goal, and everyone around them loses. Maybe they can still make the list, but I highly doubt it. It's just sad. But sticking with the NFC North, at 2-1, the Bears. They lead the North, but barely beat the same Cardinals that have been stomped 2 weeks in a row. And they lost to the Packers after having a huge lead. They won 16-14 against the Cardinals. The same Cardinals that got stomped 34-0. The same Cardinals that got stomped 2 weeks in a row, and then the Bears come out and barely beat them. If the Bears had beaten them soundly, had put up, 30-plus points like every other team, they'd also be above the Vikings. Hell, they'd probably be above the Titans. But that defense, Khalil Mack is out there just putting up a Hall of Fame career. And to think, the Raiders could have had him. The Raiders could have kept him and had him out there. Maybe they'd be 1-2. Maybe they'd be 2-1. Maybe they'd be 3-0. Instead, the Raiders are 0-3. The Bears are 2-1. Now, teams that are 1-2 or 0-3, whatever, that might bounce back, Falcons. 2 years removed from the Super Bowl, still a ton of talent, just a slow start and will build momentum most likely. They do this every year. Start off slow, go, 2-3, 2-4, and then they come back and go, 12-4 for the season. It's just what they do. But they better not wait too long to do that. And then the Colts. Andrew Luck is back. While not on top form, is working on it, and it isn't like they're losing by 20-plus points. They're close every game, so if they get over that hump, the AFC South better watch out. At 1-1, the Steelers. As they gain their rhythm, with their new running back and without Bell, they will improve. Need help from the defense to stop the other team from scoring 21-plus points, but they will come back, mark my word. They're still the Steelers. They might only finish second in the division because it's such a huge, terrible start to their season, but expect them to be in the playoff hunt. And then sadly, press F, rip the 49ers. Going 1-2 against Vikings, Chiefs, Lions. Not a big deal. The Vikings and the Chiefs, holy shit. Not a big surprise that they lost. If they had won, I also want to be as big a surprise because they're a great team. They had plenty of time to bounce back. And then, rip Jimmy G's knee. Done for the season. Poor 49ers. My friend is pissed because he's a huge 49ers fan. And he gets the NFL Sunday ticket just because they never air in the area. So this is the only way to watch them. I was like, there's no point in watching football for the rest of the year. There's just no point because my team's not going to win. If they're lucky, they'll go 2-14. Damn. But same would be done to any team. Patrick Mahomes gets hurt like that. Jared Goff gets hurt like that. Ryan Tannehill gets hurt again. And it could happen any week, any given Sunday. This could happen to your quarterback. This could happen to your running back. This could happen to your top wide receiver, costing you the season. So, what do you guys think? Should the Bears be higher? Should the Eagles not be on there? Because, Carson Wentz came out and looked okay, but not good enough to be on the board. There's a lot of teams you can move around here and there. You can move them up, move them down, keep them off the board, put them on the board. So tell me down below, because as always, like, subscribe, comment down below, and have a wonderful day.